humans, animals, stars, planets, universe. What if all these elements had twins?
Hello, my name is Ilias NAHMED, and today we will try to understand the notion of antimatter. Before we get started, I will first tell you a story. The story of two islands, two identical islands. Let's call them M and AM. We could find every inch, every tree, and even every citizen of M in AM. There was one and only shade between the two islands. The citizens of M were optimistic, whereas the AM ones were rather pessimistic. Due to multiple factors, the two islands collided. Nothing was left, not even a rock. All we could do to remember them was saying that the souls of the citizens of two islands that had once collided remained there. The end. It was a dramatic story, but when the matter meets its antimatter, it doesn't look that much tragic even if the same mechanism happens. To clarify a little bit, let's take a look at the real cast of this story. M is played by the matter, AM by the antimatter. The behavior of the citizens corresponds to the charges of the matter and antimatter, and finally, the souls stand for the energy released by the contacts of the two materials. Now that we have a vague idea about antimatter, let's move to the scientific definition. Every matter has got characteristics such as mass, size, spin, and charges. On the other hand, antimatter has got the same properties, except the charges. It holds the opposite ones. Thus, we can say that antimatter is before anything else a matter composed of antiparticles. The meeting of a matter and its antimatter as described in the story causes the annihilation of the two materials, then their total disappearance, leaving behind them only energy. Discovered by Paul Dirac in 1988, antimatter has made a colossal change in physics history. As Dirac believed, we were only looking at the surface of a deep sea. There are multiple examples of particles-antiparticles pairs in the universe. PET scans and thunderstorms produce anti-electrons called positrons. At present, thanks to the Large Hadron Collider LHC, we can make antimatter. Its mechanism is pretty simple. Particles circulate in two beams with an opposite way under an ultra-void. A magnet is used to stick two particles to each other in order to increase the probabilities of a collision. Physicists believe that matter and antimatter are made in equal quantities. This brings us 13.8 billions of years backwards, in other words, back to the Big Bang. Physicists reckon that this phenomenon is due to the Great Explosion. Then why is our universe mainly composed of matter? Well, physicists estimated that there was one extra matter particle for every billion particle-antiparticle pairs. Is it right? Is it wrong? This remains one of the biggest mysteries of our century.